So this car here, if everybody remembers Montreal with Robbie Gordon, that's this car. My first time setting up my stock car was at Junie Donlavey's shop. So a lot of the stuff I use to this day is still the same stuff from Donlavey Racing.
And ARCA, I promise there's no bondo in the nose this year.
Yep, it is cleaned up. We made sure.
We're in Fredericksburg, Virginia with Willie Mullins, the backyard race shop, race team.
Absolutely. You know, we're lucky to be in my parents' garage. And my parents still live over here in the house. And during COVID, if everybody remembers, we even had a little go-kart track that we ran, I think, 8 straight weekends on during COVID. You know, our pole-sitting Daytona car comes out of is right here at this little shop.
Let's go see it.
Absolutely.
What you'll show us of it anyways.
Yeah, sure. Come on in. You know, just a little garage. You know, I've cleaned it up over the years. Just, you know, we got a little faster and try to make it a little bit nicer. So here, you know, is our Daytona car. And then we also have a customer's car we're working on over there. Many other race cars and motors and classic cars. That's my mom's Chevelle and my mom's Monte Carlo. She actually had that 70 Chevelle since she was in high school.
So why do you have Ford, Chevy, Toyota noses? What's the decision process behind?
The cheapest cars I can get, honestly. You know, we race out of my own pocket, so it's whatever deals I can work. So we fix pretty much anything and everything. This is a cement truck here. It got the cab knocked off of it, wrecked it bad enough we had to put a motor in it. So it's a pretty big job entailed. We do a lot of commercial work is mainly what we do. We do a lot for Ryder, GFL, Republic, Waste Management. So those are our main customers that we take care of. So that's a little bit of how I pay for what we're doing every day.
So you're like the continuation of Donlavey's trash truck by day, race by night.
So what is cool by tying all this together, my first time setting up my stock car was at Junie Donlavey's shop. So I didn't know much about it since I was coming from drag racing. So Ken Bell down there invited me down there. We used a surface plate, worked on my road course car right there on that surface plate, and that was 2004 or 5, right after they had just shut down. So it's crazy to see the ties, and then watching your video, I didn't realize that Trucksmore was a trash company, that they built trash trucks and worked on them, and that's what we do here is we work on trash trucks here. So it's kind of a small world that it all came together, and they helped me get my start too.
Yeah, like right at the same time they stopped, you started.
Yeah,
and it never.
And it was crazy because Junie was there and we were talking, and you know, he offered me a lot of help. I bought a lot of equipment when they closed up. So a lot of the stuff I use to this day is still the same stuff from Donlavey Racing. If you look, we got a Dale Quarterly car right here. This was his dirt car. He ran, I think, Springfield with last, and he was getting out of the dirt. He didn't want to run dirt anymore, so he gave me a hell of a deal on it. And it was one of those things. It's a good car. You know, my wife didn't know I was buying it till it showed up, kind of thing, and she wasn't happy. But you know, it's one of those cars. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. We had a couple of things we're gonna do too. We're either gonna sell it or I'm gonna run dirt with it. This car is gonna be a pretty cool story. This car was my 3rd ever road course car we bought. It's a Ford. You know, we ran it in ARCA for 3 or 4 years. Andy Belmont sold it to me. So this car here, if everybody remembers Montreal with Robbie Gordon.
Yeah.
When Robbie Gordon wrecked Marcus Ambrose, that's this car.
Robbie's car or Marcus's car?
This is Robbie's car.
Oh, really?
This is the car that wrecked Marcus Ambrose right here.
Harvick inside of Pruitt for 4th place. Pruitt shuts the door on him. Harvick hits him back, and he gets Fellows. Big pile up down in turn 2. Brad Coleman involved, Ron Hornaday involved, and up front, Robbie Gordon by Ambrose, who goes back on him. So Robbie Gordon riding around next to Marcus Ambrose, probably, and this is just speculation on my part, but I'm speculating that Robbie Gordon is saying, hey, the caution flag was out, so I'm the race leader, even though I got hit and spun. There it is. Couldn't see that coming, could you? Kevin Harvick is going to go from worst to first, and Kevin Harvick's name will go on the winner's trophy in the inaugural NASCAR Busch Series race in Montreal.
If you want to know my opinion, I won the race. So I completed all the laps, and if you've seen this happen before, guys get spun when they slow down. That's exactly what happened with Marcus. He spun me when I slowed down, and they tell me I'm going to go back to 17th. It's not the way it is. It's happened many times. They set precedents before, and we'll appeal it. We won this race.
This is a very, very good 105 car. You know, has a great story behind it. I'm going to probably road race it more in SCCA or something like that. But yeah, this was the infamous car. You know, a lot of pedigree with this car. Really good car. It picked me up a lot. And
That's the race where he thought he won and did the donuts.
Correct. And Harvick actually won the race, but Robbie was doing donuts, and then Robbie got suspended that next week from the Cup race, I believe. So, you know, this car was one of those cars that I'll always hold on to. This will be the last ever car I get rid of probably, but we're going to put it back in the Camping World colors, and, you know, it's one of those neat stories that we got to have.
How did you end up with it?
So, long story short, I had this car here. I was ARCA racing. This was my car that I built, that I was talking to you about earlier. We built at the body shop. And the car was okay, but it was a left-hand body and a left-hand chassis, and I honestly didn't know what I was doing when I built the car. So Andy Belmont decided he was done in the ARCA series, and he had this car. He bought it directly from Ford. Ford got it to him. Chad McCumbee ran this car at Millville for a couple of years. And then once Andy was done with it, it literally showed up in my driveway. Andy said, "You're buying this car." He said, "I know you're a road racer, and this is a great piece to have." And he dropped it off in the driveway, and I bought it from him that way. So we went and ran ARCA with it a couple of years, had a good couple good finishes with it, and then we ran SCCA some more, and then I just haven't done anything with it probably in 10 years, I would think. So, you know, it's a really good piece.
I didn't expect to do that. So that's what's fun about doing these things. You never know what people have or where things came from.
You never know what you'll find, and it's one of those things. My wife's like, "Oh, we need to sell that thing." I'm like, "No, this car we won't sell." You can go up on the stairs and get a better shot. That's one of the main history cars we have here in the garage. You know, it's painted up my purple. I've always loved purple, and that's why we did that car that way.
This is a cool shop.
Thank you. It's my parents' garage. You know, I'm just blessed that they let me use it.
Did this car have any remnants of Robbie Gordon Motorsports stuff in it when you got it?
Well, it still says Robbie Gordon on the dash. All that still is the same. All the front suspension still says Robbie Gordon Racing on it. Robbie Gordon Motorsports, I think is what it says. So yeah, it's 100% the Robbie Gordon car that you know, he wrecked Marcus Ambrose with.
Is there a hole under the seat in the floor pan?
No.
There isn't?
No. No, nothing like that.
Have you heard of those?
I have not heard
stories?
Those. No.
I might cut this out of the video, but supposedly one of the McClure guys told me this, that from off-road world, people race with catheters so they don't have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, really?
Well, he would do that in NASCAR too, and he'd just run the tube out his leg of his fire suit and go on the floor or something.
Gross.
Yeah, and he said he came in for a pit stop once, and it may have been Larry McClure thought the car was leaking something, so he goes down and like touches it and like tried to taste it, and people are like, no, don't do that.
That's funny. So also we were talking earlier when we were talking about Junie Donlavey. So these blue ring and pinions here, these center sections, these are all originally out of the number 90 cars. You know, these came from Junie Donlavey. I bought, you know, pieces and parts here and there from him. So we have a lot of the Junie Donlavey things here and there. These old cans, these were handmade down here at Junie's. You know, this is how the ring and pinions would come in their big cases. They put them in squares so that in the trailer, I believe Ding said they wouldn't roll around. So,
that makes
you know,
sense.
a little bit of everything. And then all the other current stuff, if you notice, says MWR on it. So that's, a lot of this stuff comes from Michael Waltrip, you know, when the teams get defunct, things like that. You know, and that's how a little team like myself can survive, is secondhand parts. You know, Chalou Performance, SRI, you know, that's where you can get that stuff at to be able to compete in the series and still be competitive, you know.
Has it been harder for you to get parts since the next gen stopped the trickle down flow, or is there
100%, because your steering boxes here, you could get a good used steering box before they got rid of Cup car, the old Cup car, for $500. You know, 8-to-1 box. Now a good 8-to-1 box is $1,500. So it's tripled in price. It's really hurt there, you know, for used parts. Transmissions are the same way, because all the Xfinity and truck teams now have gobbled up what was good, and they're using them up for their cycles in their life. So that's the struggle we have, is being able to get good used parts.
I wonder what the next phase of that'll be once they go through their inventory of hoarded parts. Are they going to start ordering new stuff, or?
They will, but it's going to be, you know, like I was talking to the competition gear, and the problem with that is then you got to buy 50 ring and pinions for somebody to make them. You got to buy such big batches that it's hard for, you know, somebody like myself to get new parts. So we're going to get even recycled more parts than, you know, longer. It's hard to get, you know, stuff at an economical price. So that's when we'd have to decide, since we don't have a sponsor, when's enough is enough of, you know, spending this money. And that's why, you know, the Menards company and Menards is important to our series, because it keeps all of us, you know, racing in a good series that's competitive. So we can't wait to continue to do that.
What other kind of stuff do you have from Donlavey's in here? You said there was a bunch of it.
So what we do too, also, just kind of, so each cart here is a car. So this cart is the Ford short track car. That cart is the Toyota short track car. This is my road course cart. Super Speedway Ford, Super Speedway Chevrolet. You know, a little bit of everything. It's one of those things that we try to be organized like the big teams, so that we can function as close to a big team as we can. I got two packed in at one point, and
oh yes, the signature
we had
race shop add-on.
Expand a little bit, right? So this is my parts room. Everything's in here. You know, I say we got enough stuff we can build just about another car or two at least. My wife does not like walking back here because she thinks all this shit's junk. I think it's not, but you know how it works.
Yeah.
Trailing arms, everything, you know, that we need. A lot of this stuff, as you know, when you go down to Mooresville, was trying to go to auctions, buy a lot of parts at auctions, things like that. So most of these upper control arms all came from Junie's shop. When they closed up, they had hundreds of them, and then he just kept loading the pickup truck full of them. So that's where all the if you see these black older upper control arms, those are all came from the Junie shop. This cart, if you noticed, Ding had a lot of these mail carts down there. This was their teardown carts, and that's where this came from. Ding taught me a lot on just organizing and getting things, you know, put together so that we could, you know, function as a halfway decent little team.
We didn't even think this was a shipping container. This is cool.
It's just, it came to me one day, I was like, you know what, let's put a shipping container. And it started off all piled in here. And then I painted it one day and cleaned it up, and I'm just trying to organize. And if you see these red carts in the shop, all these came out of DEI. That's when DEI closed up. So we got a lot of their carts, you know, some of them are, you can even see, I'll show you in the back, they're still Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. And then like when Andy Belmont closed up, his scale cabinet, radio cabinet, I bought that from him. Everything component-wise was recycled from another team. That's how we are where we are, is just trying to find deals. You know, same thing with U-bolts. When Roush had that big auction 4, 5, 6 years ago, I think, U-bolts, hubcaps, wheel spacers. Our Motorsports just had an auction. I might have bought too many lead rail spacers. You know, it's just one of those things, when you can get a deal on it, I buy it. If you look right here, like I said, these are original DEI teardown carts. You know, they came from the team. We obviously renamed them. That's for chassis 65. So a lot of people know, if you've seen the YouTube videos, that 65 car started his life out at Roush Yates, or excuse me, Robert Yates, and that's Dale Jarrett's outside pole sitting car. This is my Limited here. As we were talking about Ding, so Ding did all the brake lines when this car was built, probably about 8 years ago. That was his little side business after Junie closed up, that he did all the brake lines for all the late model teams down there.
There's an argument between the Virginia racer that Langley and Dominion run versus what Limiteds are in North Carolina. They're not the same.
Yeah, so Langley Speedway and Dominion Raceway have their own class of Limited. It's a 604 8-inch tire Coney shock. You know, Spencer was actually talking about this on his Dale Jr. Video, that he said he wishes there was a class that was 8-inch tires, 604 motor, and a spec shock. Well, Virginia Racer and Dominion, you know, Langley, they have it right here. So if you wanted to get into a cheaper class, I don't want to say it's cheap.
Cheaper is relative to the sport.
It's how fast you want to go, right? So
we went last year, we went back to Minnesota for my birthday, and we went to my local dirt track, and we were with a guy that I went to high school with, and he was running his super stock there. He runs for my brother, and he works for my brother, and he was telling me that my brother borrowed him $10,000 to buy a race-ready complete car, and he spends $165 a weekend to go to the racetrack. And I realized, being in Virginia and the North Carolina area for so long, how out of touch we are to reality, because our level of local racing here is not local racing across the rest of the country. The money that's spent in a 3-state region here is not indicative of the rest of the country. And I tell people, oh, we run limited sometimes because we only spend $1,500 a weekend. And then I realized that if you say that to the average person, that we only spend $1,500 a weekend to go play with our race car, they look at you like you have 9 heads. That is a ton of money, and that's just for tires, fuel, getting there. Like, that's just the consumables, and you're not buying a race-ready car for $10,000. You probably maybe could get a U-car race-ready for $10,000 in our region.
well, I bought this car, you know, less motor and trans was 10.
Yeah,
You
you got a deal.
I got a deal. Robert helped me out,
Yeah.
you know, and it's an older car. We just cleaned it up this year finally. So like I was saying, this is originally built, this Ford right here was built at Robert Yates Racing for Dale Jarrett. This car set on the outside pole in 2004 or 5, if I remember. This was a UPS car. And then I got it in 2000, when was that, Dinah?
2013, I think we bought it.
2013 and 2014, it had the steel body on it. Before I had it, Grant Enfinger had it. So Grant drove this car. And then we got it, and I've run it ever since. You know, we sat on the pole with it 2 years ago. We finished second with this car. It's had a lot of good finishes. I've finished top 10 3 or 4 of the times also that we've run it. So really good car. You know, hopefully we can get another pole, and the elusive victory at Daytona would be pretty cool.
Is this one a Pinto this year? Is that?
No, we're not going to do it up as the Pinto. This will be the unbranded car because as you can see through the whole shop, we don't have any factory support since there's a lot of different cars here. So, you know, unless somebody wants to come on board and make us a Ford team or Chevrolet or Toyota, we're just going to stick with whatever we can get cheap.
I did have donkeys made to match the Mustang, to put a donkey there instead, but I can't get it covered right. I got to get vinyl to cover and then put the donkey in the front because Ford doesn't like us, so I might as well keep pissing them off.
This was our first Ford Mustang we ran. I think it was 3 years ago. So that might have been why we got in trouble right there. You know, Ford was not happy. We were not representing the brand correctly with the Mach-E and, you know, the decals.
This engine hoist looks very hardcore.
Yes, I'll give you another history lesson. This, I was told, my dad got this from a farm. I believe it was in the family, the farm was. They used to move milking machines with it. I'm not sure exactly where the story was, but that's why it originally started moving milking machines. And this thing has probably pulled thousands of motors. Between my dad used to run super stock, and then my brother ran, you know, local bracket racing, drag racing, and then I ran drag racing and stock cars, and so this thing has moved hundreds, if not thousands, of motors in its life.
It looks like it can move hundreds of motors at once. I've never seen an engine hoist that's this hardcore looking.
This thing will pick up, I had my bulldozer motor out and picked up my bulldozer motor, and we all know how heavy diesels are. So it'll pick up the world if you needed it to.
So our friends at Mave sent us over a couple bags of their human-grade dog food. Now you've probably seen our little dog running around, the toy Aussie. That's Shelby. We bring her almost everywhere with us.
Are you ready? Oh my goodness, are you so excited? Come on. I thawed out a little bit for her. She likes it less frozen.
It's super easy. You keep it in the freezer. It's made out of real things. You can look at it and see pieces of meat, pieces of vegetables, and things like that. It's not just generic pellets of crushed up whatever that they feed to dogs.
So now we're gonna open up some of these bars. She loves these. Oh my gosh, she loves these. I confiscated her bowl so she would have room for this. Oh yes, I'm so happy. Give it to me, give it to me. Please give it to me, please give it to me.
You can check out Maeve with the link in the description or the QR code on the screen here. If you got any good stories about upgrading your dog's food for a better diet, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. We're big dog people around here.
I'll go sidetrack of like a squirrel sometimes, but I wasn't done with this
it's all
yet.
good.
Does this have the Yates number on it still?
Absolutely, it's in there somewhere. It's right beside, it's all painted over, but it said RP 65 or what was it? What was their, not RP?
RYR.
RYR 65, yeah. RYR 65.
They let you paint the chassis whatever color you want?
I didn't ask, but yeah, I guess.
Oh.
Because the Kimmel still run red.
Yeah,
I like silver on some cars.
I wanted it orange, but he wouldn't do it.
I would not do an orange chassis. I wanted something that would stand out. But yeah, as long as it's a light color. I did do my first road course car was a dark charcoal. I just didn't like it because it was too dark. So yeah, and this is what the inside of a current ARCA car looks like.
And that was all painted in-house.
Yeah, we paint all this at the body shop, myself and Kayla. She painted the front clip on it and
It looks really
cleaned
nice.
it up this year.
Did you have to cut this and raise it for the
Yeah, so
taller greenhouse?
if you look right here, you can see where the cage was raised. We had a company down in Mooresville, when they put the body on it, raised the front part of the halo. And that's how you tell a Gen 4 car from a current ARCA car. So that Chevrolet was built at GMS, and that's a current ARCA car. So it doesn't have the cage raised or anything like that.
That's not the original floor pan either.
No, so Kevin Sawinski about 3 years ago when we rebodied it to the Mustang, I cut out all the floor pans. We did a full rebuild of this thing. And if you notice, like I was talking, if you look at the cage right here, this is all TIG welded. These cars were all TIG welded, where the new cars, like when they added the cage on right here, is MIG welded.
My big concern was if it went on its roof, because Willie was so tight in the car, his helmet was against, he was above the bar, so his helmet was touching the roof. So had this went over before it was raised, he's still tight as hell in there now, but before it was raised, it would have probably killed him.
She looks at the negative. I look at the positive. It was fast. That's all I cared about.
Or worse than death would have been making him an invalid, and then I'd have to take care of him for the rest of his life. So there's that.
Yeah. So this, if you look at our wall over here, this was my car in Millville. That was probably one of the last years we ran the Chevrolet. And if you see Chase Elliott, I'm not going to say I was keeping up with him, but
This is what I'm talking, like, we all wonky. What is happening here? It should be the left kicked out if it was the body.
yeah, well, you know, like I said, we didn't know.
And we definitely, this was our qualifying run, throwing sparks after a full lap, so we
It
definitely,
was down on the ground.
yeah, not where it should be. But that, yeah, it's the stuff you don't.
And
you
then
don't
that was my
know.
first car. That was the car Ding helped me with right there. That was the car I bought from Jeff Falk. So they had just hung a cutoff body on it.
Is that an old Fitz Bradshaw body?
That is old Fitz Bradshaw body. So the story behind that is I was told Jeff was supposed to race the race where Blaze Alexander got killed at Charlotte. And I don't want to say it spooked him, but that got him out of the racing again. So they fixed the car up, stuck a cutoff body on it, and then sold it to me years down the road after Jeff Falk got out of the car. You know, and that was how I got started in stock car racing, because before I was in drag cars. That's what my 10-inch tire, 700-inch stock car, drag car looked like. And then that truck, we ran it for 1 year. I bought it down to the Gavel auction, and that was Ricky Hendrick's truck. We cut the front off of it and put a new style nose on it, and that was an old GMAC truck that I bought down at the auction that was down there, and then we sold that. And we've had a lot of cars since we started this whole process. And then this year, when we were the Who's Your Hero, they used my pole banner picture. That was my first ever year right there in Daytona. We showed up and ran 8th. I thought that was the easiest thing to do. You could go to Daytona with your own car and, you know, qualified good, and we finished 8th.
And that was when the friendship with Frank Kimmel started. He was out of the ride adventuring and out of the Menards stuff, and there was another kind of scammy team that put him in a car. It was not a great car. They dropped to the back together, so they raced together the entire race, and then they got up to the front together, and then Frank ended up 4th.
Yeah, Frank finished 4th, and he's the one who kind of just taught me, just, you know, be smart about what you're doing, try to finish and live to the end, because the Daytona races, you're just going to tear them up if you try to race too early. So
when you drop to the back, because it seems like there's a massive crash at least twice in the race.
Yep.
Like, what if you just went to the back and waited there and let everybody clean themselves out and then start racing?
The problem with that is, okay, I think we should do that every year as the guy that pays for everything. The person that wants to race doesn't want to be there. And the problem with riding around the back for 3/4 of the race, you're all by yourself and you're running 20th, let's say. Well, unless the big wreck happens, you're gonna finish 20th. And I did that for so many years and it worked out, but then I just didn't race anybody. I just sat around the back and just rode around like a club race.
The winner still comes from the front.
All the time.
So the year that we finished 2nd, it's like revisionist history. You talk about, you're like, okay, well, we rode in the back and then we finished 2nd. But we ran the last lap 3 times. 3 wrecks. We were P20 on the last lap. And then we were P12, and then so like in no world were we like, it looked like it worked out, like it looked like our plan worked out, but in no world are you going, okay, we're gonna run the final lap 3 times. You know, there's no way that
the stars had to align that day, that time, that moment for that to happen that way. And I understand that because we were in the middle of the big wreck that happened on the back straightaway where Brett Holmes was up in the fence and cars were wrecking all around, and I just happened to get through it. You know, I was in the dirt sliding around and missed it and didn't tear it up and finished 2nd. You know, it was luck, a lot of it. And then what's crazy is that car there had Sheldon Creed in it, and that car's what finished 3rd, and he pushed me to 2nd. And that was at MDM, and that was a Toyota at the time, and that's where, you know, a lot of these cars that are super speedway cars have run together many times, and that was Derek Lancaster's car right there in the trailer we bought 10 years ago, something like that, 8 years ago. That's Derek Lancaster's trailer. So that car at one time was in that trailer before I even knew the guy that bought it this year. Pretty much set in the trailer as a backup car. We used it as our test car, you know.
And that's a Frank Kimmel tie-in. So Frank was working for Bursley, and in racing, everybody knows this, when a team goes under, it's like sharks, blood in the water. So it's who can get a hold of who fastest to buy things. Frank was up there, and Willie called, and they kind of wanted real money for it. And Frank said, Willie's a great guy, sell it to him a little bit cheaper. And
because I have a certain amount of budget that I can spend on a car that my wife won't kill me or move me out of the house. So I offered Bursley something for it. And, you know, we were close enough that he worked with me on it to get me to where I needed to be and where he needed to be. And that's how we ended up with that car. And it's a really good car. You know, it's always been a top 5 car, you know, whenever you take it out.
Yeah, we have a backup car that is better than probably half the field's primary.
Yeah.
So do you just have super speedway car and short track car?
Pretty much in a dirt car back there. See, if you look at the numbers, they have ducks in them. If you look down sharp at the number.
Oh, okay.
So we're not allowed to have anything in our numbers. They're supposed to, in the rule book, they're solid numbers. They don't give me any grief because once you're 10 feet from it, you can't see it. They just want it. People get so much going on in their numbers, you can't read them. So they don't bother me with these because it's still super legible.
Gizmo, get out of there. Come on. So these are Dinah's ducks right here. A lot of people notice that if you look at my Wikipedia page, that we have a lot of duck references on the car and on the pit box and our trailer. So these are Dinah's pets if you notice them chasing her.
He comes in here and he steals eggs and he's not supposed to eat eggs.
Right?
Are your cars named after types of ducks?
No, we just, I'm a true believer. You don't name a car until you win in it. Okay. So all my cars are numbered, and they're the original numbers, but I am not a person that will name anything until you win in it. So it's kind of a superstition. I am very superstitious. Definitely no green at the racetrack. Peanuts are a no-no. Dinah does not like $50 bills at the racetrack. So that's some superstitions we have at our race team that we live and die by. So this year at Berlin, a little girl came up and gave me little miniature ducks, and I carried them in my pocket every race this year, and we finished top 10 4 times this year in ARCA. So that was a superstition I picked up this year, and those little ducks will be in my pocket all year. And I know I don't have much of a chance to win in this series, but you know, we take every bit of luck we can get.
So it's the things like this that make people want to pay attention to people. That it's not just a name on a roof rail.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people follow us, you know, on X, you know, on TikTok, because I show the kind of real side of who we are, what we do. You know, Dinah with her ducks. You know, I work on trash trucks for a living. So we're just trying to bring it down to the normal person that on a Saturday night is trying to figure out how to buy their tires. Well, we're no different. We're just trying to figure out how to buy our Ford Generals. So, you know, it's a struggle just as much for us as it is for them. Just we're at a higher series, that's all.
Racing across the board has a huge issue right now with building superstars because we don't have very many kids with personalities. I think if you grow up without adversity, sometimes it doesn't lead you to be a complete human. We're lacking the guys that have an interesting perspective, or the Tony Stewarts and just the guys that have like a real personality.
The Ryan Newmans, you know, you're figuring the Ryan Newmans, the Tony Stewarts, you know, those guys that really showed you their personality on and off the track. I mean, how many people have thrown a helmet at a cup car since Tony Stewart? Nobody, you know. NASCAR, was watching your Jimmy Spencer video when he was talking about, you know, how mad he was at NASCAR for fining Tony Stewart instead of embracing it. You know, it's one of those things that we've missed the plot, and there's a line to be drawn that you can't go overboard, but you know, it's one of those things that we got to be able to put personality back in the drivers. So that's what we do here at our little Mullins Racing, at our ARCA team, is I try to show you who I am and my personality. She wants to sell everything I got. I just want to keep buying more. So
one day 10 Crown Vics showed up here. We paid for them all. Paid.
Yeah, that's how you usually get them.
You ever bring a duck to the track?
We actually have a duck that sits on the pit box. It's not a live duck, but we have a duck. Dinah would love to bring one.
What would they do if you had a real duck walk out of your trailer in the garage?
Not much. I mean,
you could put a leach on it, walk it around like a dog.
As long as we got a leash on it, they probably wouldn't care.
Well, or we could bring. So we also have way more Canadian geese than we'd like because I feed. But that's Wingle Dingle. See, he came up lame here like 5 years ago. See, his wing's broken. So he just lives here. So that's our just resident Canadian goose when they all leave. So he can't go nowhere.
So the rest of them come and go, and he stays here all the time.
He's our
guy.
The
big ducks stay here. They can't fly. Those are all domestics. Like the big white duck is the mom to the duck next to it. That duck was a wild mallard daddy. So that it's hard to see, but he's giant. So the thing behind it looks like a mallard, but that's a domestic duck. So the wild duck mated my domestic duck, and then you get giant mallards.
Yeah.
How'd you end up with 3?
Back in the day when I started, if you notice, we have the 5 car there. So the Gerhardts let me use their number when I was running all the road course stuff, so they got owner points. And then we went to the 34 because the Bashams needed help, so we were using their number for a while. And then Wayne Hickson let us use the number 3. So we were using that for a while, and then Wayne decided to not do ARCA anymore when they went to the new composite body. So he let us have the number 3 car, three number in the ARCA series. And if he ever wanted to come back, it's still his number. He can use it, is kind of the deal we made, but it's one of those things. And a lot of purists out there, when we put a 3 on a Ford, went crazy. Like, we had some crazy emails and messages on Twitter and X and all that. Just
it's like, it's not that deep. We're not using.
Yeah.
They're not even using that font. Like, what?
Yeah, that's a little weird. It's not the font.
Yeah, we've always ran with our own font. Dinah came up with this and designed it the way you know, to make it look cool. But yeah, there was some
We
Dale
had a guy like
Earnhardt.
super upset. So like, and I troll people back. Like I'm terrible in comment sections. I mean, but I had a guy like super upset and said it. So I just messaged him back. I said, well, we're doing it until we put the Earnhardt 3 on the Toyota to put Bubba Wallace in it. And then he told me I was the devil and blocked me. So.
If everybody knows my wife, she loves stirring the pot a little bit. And if you noticed, I have my own logo on the front of that car.
Yeah, speaking of stirring the pot.
And it's been redacted because NASCAR won't let us have curse words in the series. So this was all part of our COVID racing experience. Right there, that was the Willie Mullins look.
But again, the photo at New Smyrna a couple years ago went like tiny viral on Twitter, and NASCAR saw that we had shit on there, and we were sent it to cease and desist.
So we had to censor that. If you could see our
everything
censoring.
else says censored. I don't know why that one didn't. Like on the side of our
took,
trailer.
when it was down at Hillenberg's, they took the censor sticker off. Yeah.
So on the side of our trailer, it says censored across it.
That's funny.
So
That's not the first time y'all have been told by NASCAR to take something down.
I get in trouble a lot. I just I get in trouble.
And that helmet, if you come over here, I'll show you where that helmet. This was my dad's actual drag racing helmet, right here. I don't know if I can. Yeah. So this is something my wife got from a friend of hers, but.
So the helmet wasn't raced with the raccoon on
No, but this is my dad's original 1970s drag racing helmet. And that's where our shop Bugsy's comes from. My dad was called cute as a June bug when he was a child. That's where his nickname Bugsy came from. So I found that and I put some spy goggles on, and that was my our go-karting out here at White Oak Speedway when we had that in 2020. So we have some unique stories. A little bit of everything.
And even when you go-kart race for no money in a backyard, everybody cheats.
It unfortunately got so out of hand we had to just stop go-kart racing during COVID.
Pretty kill ago. So that one there, doped tires.
I didn't do it first. Davey did it first. He came with the illegal motor first.
But he's 100 pounds heavier, so.
I was trying to keep up, so I had the biggest illegal motor.
I empathize with that.
You
I
know.
can't do anything in a go-kart because
Right.
it's just impossible.
And then I started getting faster. Well, then she shows up with juice tires.
No, Davey showed up with these tires first.
That's her story. But we all blame her first. So, and then that's how it went quickly downhill, you could say. Because it literally started out as a grass track out in Mom and Dad's yard. And then it turned into full prep. Full guys were showing up with trucks and trailers.
I will send you a couple clips. To begin with, they didn't have bodies in the go-karts. He tried to kill a girl.
Yeah. You know, we learned probably about week 3 we needed bodies on the car because we were running so rough. We would knock people off the track and then we'd wheel hop them and run them over. And it got pretty dangerous for a little while.
Willie runs rough as a cob, and you can't move him in a go-kart. So people try to hit him and his go-kart but he would just sail people off into oblivion.
There's some good video we'll make sure you get.
The only way to pass Willie was to get behind him on the downhill backstretch and to just drive as fast as you possibly could and push him
into the
off
corner.
ground.
And then they could shuck me up the corner and then they could get under me.
So they could leverage your momentum against you.
That's exactly what they did. And then going up the hill, it would kill me because I had to be gathering it up high and they'd motor right by me.
I mean, we had a water truck. Her dad has a tractor with a power rake. We were doing live videos on Race 22. Speed Sport did a story. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I won't ask you what your secrets are now because you shouldn't tell me or shouldn't tell the thing I'm holding in my hand, but I would like to know what have you been caught with that you can't talk about over the years?
So they've unfortunately cracked down a lot on what we can do to the bodies. They have to be mounted a certain way. You know, you're not allowed to use any body filler in them. You know, and all these cars now are cleaned up to where they should go through tech without a problem in 26. So, you know, we can't do a lot of stuff underneath. They got to be like your stock car, like you race every Saturday night. You know,
Tell the spoiler story. That's out in the open.
we unfortunately, you know, have a stack of brand new spoilers over there because last year some spoilers may not have made it through tech correctly. We unfortunately got caught also right there at the end, and You got to have a legal spoiler, let's say. So,
Were there other people doing it?
yeah, I think they confiscated with us. I think there were 6 or 8 of them.
What were they doing? You don't got to tell me what you were doing, but what did they do?
Oh, we all did the same thing because if you know down in Mooresville, the next guy knows and the next shop knows.
Well,
I'm trying to give you an out here.
Yeah, no. All the cars that got caught, let venture these out. So we'll just be, it was every car that had something to do with the team with a V in front of it. So it was all of us that kind of run the same situation.
Yeah.
So we were the only ones doing it, I think. We are an independent team, but we've
had a lot of help from a lot of the big teams in ARCA. So, when they learn it, they help us out, because they want to see the independents also do, maybe not as well as them, but they want to see them running up in the pack with them. Because if you have a series of all A cars and there's only 5 of them, but 20 B cars, then it's a big divide. So when we go to Daytona, we need to run in a bigger group. And that's why they helped me as much as they did. And they help a lot of teams to get them up to speed. So, they were manipulating the spoiler a little bit to maybe not fit the template in the middle as well as it needed to. But they're on to us there, so we're definitely not going back this year with that.
And ARCA, I promise, there's no bondo in the nose this year.
Yep, it is cleaned up. We made sure.
What happened?
Last year, our crew chief is permanently banned from ARCA for life. We've been fighting to get him back. It's not going to happen. So Willie said that if they didn't want that pain in the ass, that he was going to give them a bigger pain in the ass and mark me down as crew chief. I'm not a crew chief. But I had to go through the car with tech, and we pushed through 6 times. Willie swore to me that he had knocked all the bondo out of the car. So I said, all right, because we're not allowed to touch these cars at all. If you look at the Xfinity cars, like on their pillars, that's why they have that golf ball pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Why they don't do it for us, because then you can't manipulate it. So they don't with us. We had run the Mustang body longer than anyone else, so ARCA apparently wasn't aware what the body lines are supposed to look like. I don't know. Willie lied to me. The nose is full of bondo. So every time they asked for bondo out, we'd bring it back over to the trailer. Willie would knock just that portion out, and then we would go do it again, and they'd look at the next side, and then we did that 6 times. And then, of course.
Then we wrecked it, of course, so we knocked everything out of it. Now it just has a regular stock nose on it. You can look at it and see that there's nothing in it. Just because we didn't want to have the argument in tech again this year. So we've cleaned our stuff up, so we shouldn't have any problems. Yeah, we'll see. You should come down to the test with us one day,
If I could fit in a car, I'd do that.
Well, while you're here, we'll see if you can fit. What do you think?
I'll do it. Which one should I try to fit into?
This one.
This one.
So this car here is, like I said, this is a Gen 4 car, but this was a purpose-built ARCA car. If you notice here, there's no splice. On the Ford, there's a splice right here where they raise the halo. Well, this car was built big and wide for, a lot more room is what I like. This car is way more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna actually let you sit in both of them to show you the difference of what it's like in a newer car versus an older car.
Is the distance between the firewall and the 7-bar different in the Gen 4 chassis versus these ones?
We put a tape measure on it, and no, it's not, but there's something different. It's wider a little bit at the dash bar. It's just way more roomier. The floor pans are lower in this car.
Oh, that helps.
If you look at the seat, my headrest on that car, it's even with the side. And if you look at that car, you see that seat's 4 inches taller in that car window than this car. And that's a lot of it, is this car's way more down and back, where that car was the old steel body car. It was a lot smaller. Like your old super speedway cars, the bodies were really tight, really narrow, wheel openings were small. So they built them as small as they could for super speedways. Now with this composite body, it's a spec body. So we all have to have the same body. They can build the car bigger inside, give you more room, get you away from the left side of the car a little bit. You're used to those little windows like in that car. This one you should be able to flop down in pretty easy. Throw the leg over and just slide down in there. At least 2, you are stock. You stand on the seat.
It's a little bit of a different angle.
It is. Because see, I have leg boards really small. I like my leg tight. Bend your leg down if you can.
The method I use in my own car doesn't work in this car.
No.
The dash is in a different place.
Yes.
Relative to the everything.
Now the column is probably still low in this car from Regina.
Do we need to move the column before he gets in then?
Somehow, just gotta figure out.
Willie, do you want to show him how you get in first?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let me see if I can get it.
And he is about as graceful as you can imagine a big guy like that going through a window.
I have leg boards and a knee knocker in my car, but that dash sticks out way farther. Is that because it's got the screen on it?
Maybe. See, I think the dash is way down from when we had Regina in it.
So we might need to move some.
It's down a little bit.
Oh, that moves.
Grab me a 1/2 inch, Kayla. So what we're doing is we have to loosen this clamp up here to get our steering column up higher.
Might have to try a few different approaches.
Yeah, stand there, get your other foot on the seat. And then I slide in. Now I drop my foot onto the floor. And then I kind of hold myself and slide in.
My leg.
There you go. There. Just like that. You look decent in that seat. You're not bad.
Oh, that's actually not bad. I don't know if they'll worry about. No, the headrest looks good on him. That's what I was worried about. How are your legs in there?
Fine. This feels like my own car.
Okay.
And then we can slide it. You can grab the steering column and pull it back to you. There you go. And I can come down if you need to. You feel high right there?
Yeah, usually, I don't know why some people say that, like the wheel at their nose. Like, I don't want my fist in my face.
You're right. See, Willie's a big guy, so everything is to the extreme of the easy, like giving it the most room.
We can get down once you get, you know, the final. I don't know if I left the ratchet. Is the ratchet still up in there?
No.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
It really feels, as far as my leg bend, it's about the same as my own car. I just have an insert that holds my leg up, but
Right.
it's not a short track, so.
So the seat feel, it looks pretty good on you.
Yeah,
It doesn't look terrible. And your head's about right. It's right in
How
the
is his
middle.
ribs side to side? Are we going to need to do a pour in at all?
No, I don't think a pour in. Worst case, we'll have to put a little padding
Yeah.
here. And you see how much room is above your head in this car?
Yeah.
Done.
A ton.
Yeah.
My helmet hose is getting caught on the roof.
Correct.
Of
Yeah.
my own
And
car.
that's what the old steel body cars, you couldn't, it would give me a headache during the race because my head was getting pushed down by the hose.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
these
that's
bigger,
why, yeah.
bigger composite cars have been great. So now that you fit in the car, why don't you come to Daytona with us and actually turn some laps?
If they'll let me, I'll do it.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we get a hold of Bobby and see what he says. Because my plan is I'm going to go out in the car first and run 3 or 4 laps, make sure everything's good and clean, and then we'll put you in it and go out and see what you can do.
Shake it down, make sure nothing's
Yeah,
stupid.
make sure nothing falls off of it. We even have a cool box for you so you don't get sweaty in there.
Look, goes in the helmet.
Yep.
I've never used one of those. Just sit there and bake like a
It could be
Thanksgiving
60
turkey.
degrees out. Willie's still running
I
a
got
full
one.
box. We've
I
always
would
had
if I had one, believe me.
But you know how I talk about deals, right? I've never paid more than $500 for one of these cool boxes because I try to just find a team that's going out, one on eBay, something like that, you know.
So we're running a really old, that's a really old generation. Some teams wouldn't want it because it's
They're
heavy.
heavy, you know.
But I don't know. We had a crew chief that used to tell he was a sissy for running it. But at the end of a race, if your head is 10 degrees cooler than the rest of your body, you make better decisions.
That's absolutely
I don't
true.
think. I mean, it's driver comfort, but I also think that it's, you know.
It's a disadvantage if you don't have what everybody else has.
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, and I haven't spent the money for those new Rennie systems that have the water that run through your whole system. It's like a 7-pound box that keeps you cold.
But they're $7,000.
They're
so.
like $7,000 or $8,000.
Is your transmission one where you don't use the clutch?
Correct.
The shift,
Yep.
just to start and stop.
You can, I mean, coming out of the pit road, you'll be in first roll, and you know if you want to blip the clutch just to shift it, you can.
Realistically, you're going to kill this car enough coming out of the.
That's one
garage.
thing we do have. So
we'll
every
have to-
time you stall it, we always tell you got to owe us $1.
Okay.
So that's one of our going jokes, because we'll have kids that'll hop in these things at Daytona, and you have a 325 gear in the back of this thing, and you go to move it, and it's like where you're used to getting in a car with a 560 or a 580 ring and pinion in the back, and you put it in first gear and you just let the clutch out and it goes. This car, you got to drive it like a road course car. You got to like milk the clutch pedal and give it a little gas, and then get it rolling and chugging and go. Once you get it going, you just go.
Should I even try to wedge myself into the other one? Just
You
to
can
see
try.
if-
Let's try to see. I want to see if you can see the difference. can step on the seat. I'm not prissy.
This was easier. There's more room in for my knee.
Well, see, I slid the dash back because I couldn't get in and out quick. That one actually fits you just as good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have the dash all the way redone in this one. That's
Yeah,
why.
I moved the dash up in this car because I got tired of the dash being here, and then I couldn't get the steering column high enough. I want to show you my steering buddy though. It's pretty cool. So when you're by yourself, it's kind of cool, right?
Okay, I need one of these already.
We found this company. Actually, they found us walking through PRI, and I want to give him props. The guy has been great to us. You know, he got us a steering buddy, like he said. Mike has been great. If you have any questions, so what you do is it's hooked up to the column, and I literally have a wireless remote right here. We're gonna wake it up. So once you wake it up, it will steer the car from here.
I need one of those because I load and unload my car by myself usually.
That's right. So that's why I got it, is because when you're pushing out of the top of our trailer, sometimes Kayla can't get here, or it's just me and her. So we'll have to shove it out, and she kind of needs my help to push instead of steering. So we use this to steer.
They don't roll straight either. It's
No.
you can't let go of the wheel. It's going.
Well, I got hurt by one that way. I was trying to unload it myself out of a regular trailer, and I thought I had the wheel straight enough. Well, it caught me and jammed me against the wall, and nobody was here. So I literally had to scream for 30 minutes for somebody to finally hear
He
me.
left his phone in the truck also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the scariest I've ever been. I've been just trapped. I couldn't get out of the trailer, couldn't do anything. And it didn't break my foot, but it had pressed it up against the wall to where I was laying across the hood and couldn't get out. So when they hit us up this year, as we were walking into PRI, I was like, man, let's try that. And I was like, well, the only issue is we have all snap-on tools. Well, they'll make this tool fit any 18-volt battery that you have. So if you're a Makita guy, they'll make it for a Makita battery. If it's a DeWalt, they'll make it for a DeWalt battery. So it's custom order to what you want. They're used a lot in the dirt car world because a lot of them have that steering wheel that come out the back window or something like that with that long extension. Well, they made this for those dirt car guys, and then it's slowly transferring over to asphalt now.
And there's some knockoffs out there now, but they're nowhere near as good as these.
You know, this thing works great. See, it'll steer, and this is an 8-to-1 steering box, and you see just sitting here, not even moving.
That's cool.
Because I can even hook my tractor up to it and drag the car up in the garage and use that, so I don't even have to have somebody to drag it into the garage.
Less convenient.
So very convenient. Everybody can hit us up at mullinsracing.com. Obviously, Dinah's on Twitter all the time. Find her there.
Mullins Racing, at Mullins Racer, at Mullins_racing on just about everything. On TikTok, it's gonna be WillieMullins.3,
Yep.
Dinah M. Mullins on TikTok. We don't do as much over there anymore.
I do a lot. I usually give a Sunday update. It's kind of what I like to do, to let everybody know what we're doing, the cars in the garage, things moved around. So it's been a great addition to get you here and show our story, and hopefully we even have a bigger story for you at the test. It'd be kind of cool if we can get you approved.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, well, I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking? Why don't you tell them?
I'm thinking that there have been some serious boneheads out there, and I'm not one of them,
Yep.
so I should be okay.
I think you'll be just fine. I think
Listen to
you're
the spotter and
realistic about what you're trying to do, and I think just hold the steering wheel and hold it on the floor, turn left, right?
That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
we'll find out.
How hard could it be?
If you watch this whole video, you're awesome. We appreciate you, and this stuff matters because teams like Mullins Racing, Willie and Dinah, they're the real deal. That formula, that model is what there should be more of, honestly, because they're competitive. They're still the backyard team. It can be done. They're doing it. They're proving that. And I will say I was approved to do the Daytona test with them by ARCA, which is really cool. I'm excited for that. I've never done anything like that, obviously, aside from racing my own car here on short tracks, but Daytona's a lot different. So that'll be really cool to go through that tunnel in my truck that I've been driving since college with my helmet and suit in a bag and be like, wow, I'm actually here to drive a car. That's gonna mean something. which, by the way, because of us moving and everything with doing the rear clip on my car this summer, that knocked down our posting frequency to almost nothing. And because of that, our newer uploads are not reaching the people who usually watch them because they kind of get cycled out. It's like out of sight, out of mind. So if you're listening to me speak right now, I would encourage you to go check my channel page and look at the published videos to see if there's something you missed, because I've posted a few videos racing my car and those are quite entertaining. You'll see how I got that dent in the fender and this. That's really all the damage that occurred the entire season. And all of that happened on the same lap. And at that, I still got 2 more race videos with my car to post that I've been backed up on to do this when the house renovating and stuff. We got to do some more work in this garage to get it ready. The windows are crooked. I got to fix those. And the door, the frame's crooked on there. I don't know why, but it is. Got to do that. Then we're going to get everything insulated and closed up, and then we can actually kind of start working in here, which I'm really excited for. We got to hanker into get to putting some stuff together. What am I doing for racing next year? I don't really know yet. Could be a little bit of everything. I don't think I will be doing any Grand National races next year, but that's a whole different story. Super Cup though, yeah, I think I'll be doing some of those. What will this car look like next year? I don't know that either. What do you think it should look like? Should I leave it the same? Change it? Different colors maybe? Different scheme? I don't know. And I just noticed it looks like a bird took a crap on my deck lid. Where the frick did you come from? That's some baloney right there. Okay, yeah, we got to get this thing closed up. So yeah, don't forget, do us a solid. Go check out one of our previous videos. Maybe if you haven't seen it already, just to help keep things going. We kind of need a kick in the pants to get back out of our slump from all this stuff. And I'm going to go get some spray wax and get the bird crap off of my cars.